Alright, so the goal for the day is to get everything piled up here with these dead leaves, all this brush over here, all the brush around the house, around the property, chop up the rest of these branches from these trees into manageable sizes for the fire. We gotta get everything tarped up. That way the rain doesn't hit it overnight while I'm at work, and when I get off in the morning, we're gonna start this fire. So let's get started. We don't have much time. We get about 4 or 5 hours to get everything done around here. Otherwise, we're gonna be held out for at least a week while the storm passes by. So we gotta make sure we get everything done so that way we get to do stuff while the storm is going on and be productive around here and not waste either time or waste Mother Nature. We don't get much rain around here, so let's take advantage of it and burn what's around here while we can, because you don't want to be stuck with this coming summertime. Alright, so we got everything that we need to pick up with the pitchfork. We're going to come through with the rake right now, get all the loose stuff up, come through with the shovel, get the last of it, and rake it up one more time. We're going to probably trim down a lot of these trees right here, trim down some of these branches right here, bring that stuff over here, so to get everything prepped, so make good progress. Alright, look what we found in the yard. Little lizards are the best. I've been catching these little guys, little alligator lizards, since I was a little kid. There's nothing wrong with these guys around the property. One thing I love about reptiles, for the most part, unless you got a tortoise or something, these guys do not eat vegetables. These guys eat all the little bugs, the things you don't want, the little pincher bugs, potato bugs, anything you don't want eating your plants, these guys love them. You find them living in a safe environment. They like to live under the leaves, none of that mulch. And they just go looking around for little bugs and grubs. And they eat and they get very big. So you are definitely more than welcome, little buddy.
basically what we're doing right now is we're using this fire as a tool, just like you use a shovel, as you use a rake. We're using this rain as a tool. You know, it's protecting all this other land around us so we can burn this at a high heat, get it all burnt up into complete ash, burn away all these seeds. That way we can benefit this land in the best way. You know, these techniques have been being used for thousands and thousands of years during the right time of year to come out here and have these fires. We've had them, whether it be moving from one area to the other, whether it be from the high grounds to the low grounds in the seasons, we burn wherever we just were. We get rid of all the bad material, so when we came back, we have tons of good material. Tons of strong medicines that all grow back. There's a lot of plants, especially not only in California, but in North America, they've been burnt for hundreds of thousands of years. You know, we've been using fire to fight all this back. So the seeds, the plants, the native habitat around, a lot of them have grown accustomed to having, you know, fire-resistant roots, seeds, all these things that react to the fire. And all these invasive plants, they pretty much go away. So I think fire is going to be the biggest tool for fighting these invasive species and bringing back the native species as well. So I'm going to get to it, start burning this before the fire goes out. The rain's going to start coming down hard here, so we got to take advantage of it. How our people have been doing this, as indigenous people have been doing this for hundreds of thousands of years. Creating fire, using it to tend to the land. Because it works so good and we don't have to work that hard as far as just gathering it, putting it up. How we used to do is we used to set fire and just let it go. It'd be low intensity fires. You know, there was a lot of old growth forest back then with super, super thick bark. And no fire can penetrate that. Even nowadays, the big fires don't penetrate it. It's when the canopy below, all the underbrush reaches the canopy. And so when the fires hit that canopy, you know, those leaves are just full of sap. Once those catch, it ignites it. And then once big old growth trees full of saps, they blow up. They're so full of fuel. When the fire does get to them, they just start exploding. You hear, like my grandpa and them, they were telling me when the Slater fires happen up there in your happy camp, you can just hear all the trees just boom, 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 just exploding. That's how powerful they are. So we used to tend these lands with the fire, and that's what we're trying to get back to here, kind of lead that example, showing that, like, look what this fire can do. And by the end of all this, hopefully this property is pretty cleared out for the most part, and the rest can be done with just hand tools, make it a lot easier on myself and speed up the process, because it took a lot longer time loading up all these weeds that have burnt so far, taking them down there, getting it dumped, possibly even paying for it to get dumped if I didn't have to dump it on the res, and then I get extra fertilizer from it because I get to put it in my compost. So, you know, we all benefit from just reusing our materials. And so you can imagine this on a bigger scale, like our ancestors used to do. So imagine the whole forest getting this treatment. Imagine the whole forest getting all this undergrowth burnt. And like I said, a lot of native plants weren't getting damaged because their roots go so deep. If the top part gets damaged, they grow back healthier the next season. If you see a lot of people growing microgreens, well, the sprouts have all the dang nutrients anyways. So that's what the animals like. If you're a hunter, you want to give the animals the best chance to eat good, to survive, well, you do so by burning off all these older, tougher brush that there is to eat. So when they come back in the next year after the fire season, after the rain, there's going to be fresh sprouts up that are nice and tender and full of nutrients for them. So you're going to have healthier animals, healthier ecosystem. You're going to be able to see for miles because you're going to clear all the underbrush. So if we just start fighting fire with fire, start fighting the land with fire, it'll do us a lot of benefits. Alright, so we're loading up all this arrow shoot, getting this fire nice and hot. That way we can get all this cottonwood burnt. So let's get those leaves on. And we're just gonna pile this up right now, let that oxygen level get in there. It's gonna create a lot of spacing. It's gonna start feeding in more, sucking in more oxygen, especially with this rain coming in. We gotta get it as hot as we can. We want it to burn all this material down right. I don't want to be left with a lot of charcoal. I want clean white ash. That's the goal here. You don't want a lot of charcoal. You want a lot of clean white ash, so it's easier to mix up in your compost box. The bigger we get this fire, the quicker it's going to dry out a lot of this material that's still damp if it is a little fresh. So that's another benefit of this rain, is it gives us the ability to create huge fires for this purpose. So something that normally would take hours and hours and hours, as you've seen with little stuff that I've done, legit took 45 minutes for that pile, about 15 minutes so far for this pile. Only about an hour so far I've been out here, which is pretty cool. Now you know why we made a big fire pit. Getting all this done in this timely manner just ensures, not only ensures, it puts us, I think, ahead of the game for my schedule. Because I was planning on all this to get rototilled into the ground. That's a lot of material. It's going to be so much easier since I concentrated this material in the fire. So it's almost like if they make any other thing concentrated. If they make clarified butter, what happens when you cook down a bunch of butter? You get a less amount, but it's more concentrated, more potent. You do with a lot of other things too, including this. You're concentrating all that energy in the little bitty ash form to be able to transfer that in there. So it's a super powerful thing to be able to use this fire, not only to cleanse yourself, but to cleanse the land. It's going to benefit it in so many ways. So we get more people doing this, taking advantage of the weather, using these things to help us achieve the goals that we want to achieve and have it really benefit the earth too. I think that's the biggest thing, is to be able to do things and coexist with the earth, and that's what this is doing here. Clearing out this brush, not dumping in a giant pile for it to break down slowly over a long period of time. So you just got a giant pile and it's not being managed, not being turned, nothing like that. This right here has been sitting here for years. Before this house was built, a lot of this material has been sitting here for years, and in a couple weeks of gathering it and a couple hours of burning it, it's gone. So it goes to show how using these tools, like shovels, like rakes, like every other tool you would use, can benefit not only you, but your land, your homestead, whatever it is you're trying to achieve, garden, clean up your parents' yard. If you can get a nice cool day like this, or multiple cool days like we're gonna have, you can achieve a lot. And it just makes me really excited because it's working, these things are working. It's not just something that my elders and my ancestors were just blowing smoke up my butt, saying like, oh, go ahead and light fires, and it works. And it goes to show, like, I could bust my butt out here for hours with a rake, with the hula hoe, with power tools, and it's still not going to be as effective as this. And at the end, give me a byproduct that I'm still going to be able to use. So. What it's about right here. Heating up the land using medicine. Fire is medicine. You gotta remember that. It's not scary. As long as you respect it, it's medicine. We've been using this to warm ourselves, cook our food, clean our water, light our ways, keep our house lit at night, keep us comfy for since the beginning of time. For every religion, every race, everybody. You go back further enough in your DNA. Especially very recently before electricity, we were all surrounded by these fires, by things that made fire. So don't forget about this. It's a very important thing that we use. And I'm using it here today, and it got about 2-3 weeks worth of yard work done in an hour. But there it is, you know, you could use fire to benefit your land, benefit yourself, because I don't have to do as much yard work now. It's that simple. It's all cleared out over there, all cleared out over there, all thanks to this fire and this rain that we're blessed with. So super thankful. Hope you guys enjoyed the video and seeing how you could use fire to not only benefit your garden, your property, but just make the workload on yourself a lot easier. So stay tuned till next time.